Hello everyone, Maria Trusa, the CEO of Fort May Medical Center and Urgent Care. And today we're here at Reflect and Reset with Gina and Maria, but unfortunately Gina is under the weather and we're not able to have her at the show. But next week, next Wednesday, she will join me for another great show. And we have an amazing guest today, Iris Rosario. How are you, my love?
Very good, thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. Pleasure to be here.
Excellent. We actually had a show on Monday, but we did it in Spanish. And Gina and I wanted to invite Iris again because we felt that the information for those people that do not speak Spanish is information that is valuable. And as you know, our mission is your health, but in addition to that, we want to educate our community. We want people to know what are the programs that exist that can make a difference in your life or maybe the life of someone that you know. So Iris is, tell us a little bit about yourself so that everybody gets to know you.
Well, like you said, my name is Iris Rosario and I'm the director of WIC Services Administrator for Montefiore New Rochelle. And I've been the administrator of the program for over 30 years. My background, I'm Dominican, so I came from the Dominican Republic in 1979, and I come from a low-income family, a family of 5, and I'm the second oldest. And I'm here today, very proud to talk about the WIC program, Women, Infants, and Children.
That's awesome. And Iris is somebody that I've gotten to know in a few months, and somebody that I've learned to admire very, very much because she is making a difference in our community. Not just the Latino community, obviously with the focus because we're a minority, but we're a majority because there's so many of us. But she is making such a difference in women that are pregnant, women that have had their children and they need guidance. And I want, when I was talking to you about the program, I actually realized that it's not just low income, right? I mean, it's low income there's a number because there are families. You were telling me the story about these doctors that are doing their residency and they're not able to make a lot of money. So, tell me.
Yeah, well, the WIC program is based on an income guideline, but the misconception is that you need to be a public assistant or have no money or no job in order to be eligible for the program. So the income guideline that there is we could say working poor or families who are working but their income is low, that they might be eligible to receive the WIC benefits. And it's also according to the family size. So what I would recommend anyone that would like to know if their income and they are eligible based on the income to qualify for the program is just to call us, give us the income and the number of family members, and then we will be able to tell them, yes, you are eligible, because we do have a lot of families that are working, but because they have 2, 3 children and maybe only the husband or the significant other is the one working, they'll be able to work for the family.
Right.
And automatically anyone that has Medicaid is automatically eligible based on the income guideline. But yes, we do have medical residents that they are in the WIC program because while they're in a resident program, they're not making that much money yet, and they have few children that make them eligible for the program.
So what exactly are the services that the program provides?
Well, first of all, I wanted to start by telling you that the WIC program, Women, Infants, and Children, a lot of people do not know what WIC stands for, and it stands for Women, Infants, and Children, and it's a federal supplemental program as well as an educational program for low-income families. And it provides nutritious food, nutrition education, and health referral to the healthcare system so that our clients are referred to ensure that they are accessing healthcare. And the mission of the program is to ensure that we provide nutrition food, referral to healthcare to women, infants, and children by providing nutritious food and also education and making sure that they are accessing other services within our community. The program has different goals. Many of the goals of the programs are to promote and support breastfeeding, to ensure that the pregnant woman and our prenatals have a good pregnancy outcome.
That can result in reducing obesity, right?
Yes, and then also to reduce the low birth weight rate. By participating in the WIC program, we have reduced low birth weight because we're giving nutrition education, nutrition food, And also we promote and support the growth and development of children through education and through the food that we provide through the WIC program.
Right. And the program focuses a lot, which I didn't realize, on reducing the obesity on children. Tell us the statistics of kids that are 2 years old to 5 years old.
Well, there is in our community, each state and each city will have their own statistic. But in New Rochelle, we have about 50% of our children between the age 2 to 5 are obese. So the obesity among the 2 to 5 year old children, it is so high, and one of our goals is to try to prevent and reduce obesity. So what we are doing in our WIC program at Montefiore New Rochelle is that we design and establish a healthy lifestyle program where we have and invite the parents to bring their children and have physical fitness. We have a personal trainer in our office, and we have a Zumba instructor in the office as well, and we invite the mom and the children to come in and participate in physical activity. So not only we provide the nutrition education, we provide the WIC the supplemental food, but we also provide physical activity. So who has free personal trainer, free Zumba classes, and it works. It works because children has an environment and a place to come and be physically active. So that's what we are doing in the Montefiore New Rochelle program to reduce and prevent childhood obesity.
But this program is something that exists pretty much in every city, right?
The WIC program exists in every city, yes. The Healthy Lifestyle program is recommended by New York State Department of Health, but every WIC program implements a healthy lifestyle program differently. There are some programs that will provide cooking classes. There are some programs that will provide just maybe the Zumba classes. Not all WIC programs are as lucky as we are that we have the space availability to do this fitness classes. So we are very lucky to be able to provide that.
And you have a master's in nutrition.
Yes.
And at our previous show, we were talking a lot about the fact that, when should you be feeding kids solid food? Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah. What we do in the WIC program, again, is trying to encourage parents to introduce food at the age that is recommended. We recommend it, and we 100% recommend breastfeeding as a norm of feeding your babies, but we also know that not everybody is able to breastfeed.
Right.
So we recommend breastfeeding, and then introducing of solid food for children is breastfeeding with no food until the age of 6 months, and at 6 months is when the infants need additional food, and that's why the introduction of the cereal is recommended at the age of 6 months, because that's when the baby needs additional calories, and that's when the baby is ready, physically ready to digest the food. So there are symptoms and development stages on the children that will tell us that the child is ready for solid food. And one simple one that I always tell the parents, if you put your baby in a high chair and the baby is able to sit and hold their neck without support, that is an indication that your baby is ready for solid food.
That's interesting.
Yes.
And we were also talking about the fact that there's so much obesity, and I know in our culture, in the Latino culture, we tend to feed the kids solid food at earlier than 6 months. And you feel that this is part of what is creating the obesity from the beginning.
And it is one of the major contribution. One of the major contribution is that introducing extra calories that your child doesn't need, that is additionally influencing the baby to retain the weight. You're giving calories even to an adult that doesn't need it, they're going to gain the weight. Introducing the calories, feeding too much formula, not breastfeeding, it also will help with it, will cause the childhood obesity because children
if you're not watching the way that
right. So if you're not breastfeeding, you're formula feeding, you introducing early solid food, and at the same time you are putting either sugar in the bottles, you're introducing juice at an early age. Juice has a lot of calories, and the amount of juice that is recommended also is the portion size. All of these cultural bad habits that we have, and that we are not willing to break them, because I know that the physicians, the pediatricians, the nutritionists in our WIC program are encouraging the mothers to break out of those old bad habits. And there are some historically and culturally, and I know that in my culture, if a baby is not chubby, they're considered to be unhealthy.
Right.
So and
They're cute. When they're chubby, they're cute.
They're cute. So we're trying to get our families away from that misconception. Way back then, when the children, there was not immunization and there were so many illness that because there was no immunization or antibiotics, the children were chubby or survive any illness. So that was the creation of that misconception. So now everybody thinks the healthy children is the heavy, hot, chubby child, and it's not true. So we need to get away from that, feed the child according to their age and development.
Just a joke on the side. My brother always used to say, you know, he's a little bit, he has more volume than I do, and he would joke around. He said, if I get sick, I have a lot of reserve. If you get sick, you don't. And you just made me think of that.
But it is true, and that is the perception out there. And in my family, when I was growing up, I was really a 15-year-old. Maybe I weighed 70 pounds. So I was so skinny, and they called me a free name in the book. Because you were thin, and your parents were always trying to encourage you to overeat and force you to eat.
Yeah.
So the child has their own clock and their own time when and how much they need. Every child needs different calories.
Yeah. So, you know, one point that I have to make is that we are the example to our kids. We are teaching them in the obesity, we can control it if we control the intake that we're giving to our children. And we were talking about that how juice is something that people buy so much of in sodas. And I can tell you that, thank God my kids do not have a weight problem, but I have lived and have taught them to live the same life. So I don't drink juice, I don't drink soda, I drink a lot of water, and my kids were raised drinking water. In my house, you will not be able to find juice or soda. So ironically, they're now grown-ups, and they are raising, I have 2 grandchildren, and my son is doing the same thing with his kids, and they're not, most likely they're not gonna have a weight issue. So we can control that. We have to take action. We are the example. We were having a philosophical moment the other day talking about how we are leading by example. So you have to, and that comes to the phone. Like, let's talk about what's contributing to obesity too.
Yes, and I'm glad that you mentioned about leading by example, because what I tell the parents is if you don't buy the soda, they cannot have it at home. If you live in Yamanite, they cannot buy it. So if you don't eat vegetables, you cannot force your child to eat vegetables. So leading by example is great, and I'm glad that you brought that point in. But what you were mentioning is that contribution of physical activity. A lot of the children not only eating their own food, their own amount, but also we have a lack of physical activity among our children and among our adults as well. But I'm concerned more about the children, because the children have no control of themselves. We adults, if we want to be not physically active, we made that choice. But as parents, you need to make the choice for your children that cannot make it for themselves. And one of the encouragement is to make your children physically active. The TV time is so extensive in this population or in the country that we live in, that we spend most of our time watching TV. The children is spending more than 4 hours in front of the TV, which means the child is eating in front of the TV and is not going to the park, is not being physically active, is not burning any calories. And that's one of the major contributions of childhood obesity. Limiting the TV time or screen time. We call it a screen time because it's not only TV, it's the computer, the tablet,
the iPads,
the video games. So to no more than 2 hours a day. And when we recommend the parents, let them watch their favorite show, turn off the TV, let them play, let them read a book, let color, take them to the park.
I read on a book that the kids need to be able to experience being bored, because when you're bored, your creativity, it starts getting active. So this is a time to get creative. And people think that you have to entertain them every second, but you don't have to do that. You can let them be bored, because they're going to find how to entertain themselves.
And we as parents have to be creative on how to entertain them in a way that is educational and that is productive for them. And we know that reading for 20 minutes every day is important. And you have to find ways of how to have that child sit for 20 minutes, either reading, coloring, or doing something else besides watching TV. My son was one that was a super hyperactive. I thought he might have a problem. But what I did, I knew that reading was good for him. He would have spent 20 minutes when he was 3 years old asking me, is it 20 minutes yet? And he would not even flip to one of the page of the book. So what I did was I got a timer. And I put 20 minutes. Until that time, 20 minutes is up, then that's when you're just going to get up and do whatever you have to do, but you need 20 minutes of reading, especially when they're going to the school. Because we have children today that are not getting into school ready to learn. Either A, because of the poor nutrition, B, because of the lack of interaction, and the lack of educating and learning to read, or getting emotional and attached to the reading. So reading right from the womb, when the mom is pregnant, should start reading to the children. So that's very important.
Reading is very, very important. And going back to the cellular, it's the parents are distracted with social media. And I always say, I'm the queen of social media, because I love to be able to communicate with all of you. And I found a way to really try to make a difference to so many of our community that needs it desperately. So this is a good program, but many times we're looking through Facebook, and it's an addicting behavior actually, that it is very difficult to stop. And you see parents, and you see this even when you go to the restaurants, people just are on their phone, and the kids are doing whatever they want to do.
Yes, and you bring that example, that's one of the examples we encourage parents. When it's a meal time, the TV, the cell phone, all the screens should be off, and just concentrate on the meal time. Because when you're eating, your brain sends you a message and tells you that you are full. But if your brain is concentrating in other activities, it will miss that message, and you keep on eating and without getting the message when you're full. And the same thing happens to the kid, because they are not just concentrating on eating the meal that is in front of them. And it should be a family time, it should be a social time between the family, and get to know the child and then teach them how to eat and how to have table manners. So there is so many opportunities that we miss by not getting that meal time with the family. And that way we know what the child is eating, what the child is not eating, and how we're going to introduce new food to the children that they can use to eat what they're supposed to be eating.
Yeah, and being able to communicate with your child, I can tell you that it's an effort, because I have a very busy life. I get a lot of emails, and sometimes what would happen to me, I would take my daughter, let's say, to eat, and then I would say, oh, I got to check this email. So what I realized is nothing is more valuable than the time that I am with her. And this is something that I taught myself, and I really had to work at it and be conscious, because you're also affecting your children, because they're feeling less than. Like, the phone is more important. And the funny thing is, my daughter the other day was telling me, she's like, Mom, I like it when we go out to eat and you're not touching your phone, because I purposely leave it inside my bag and not touch it. And I am creating a connection, and that connection is missing. So the phone, the television, not exercising enough, this is a problem.
And this is a problem, and we created that problem in our society today, and we should do like you do it. I do the same thing with my husband and my child. When they come to visit, when my son comes to visit, if he's going to be in the sun, I said, then while you're here, or if we are going to be going out to eat, the phone must be put it away. If there is a call coming in, if it's not an emergency, you do not pick up the phone. So that's what we need to teach the parents. We see children that the parents going out to eat, the first thing they pack is the tablet, because now they're eating, and the kid is not even eating, but is sitting on the tablet, and they are fine with it, because the child is not interfering with their social activities, talking to other adults,
right.
And that should not happen. So we need to do that. We need to create that culture. What is right, what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. It's the same thing when you see children going to church and the children bring their tablets instead of teaching them. If you in church is to listen, to learn how to pray, to learn. So again, parents, we are parents, and those are the ones that we encourage in our WIC program. We do a lot of parenting, teaching skills classes to encourage parents what is right, what is wrong.
Yeah.
But we wanted to mention about also how to assess the WIC program.
Yes.
And it is important. Our WIC program is located at Montefiore New Rochelle. It's a health system. It has 6 locations. It has 5 locations on the Bronx area. We are one of the main sites in New Rochelle. And if anybody wanted to assess the program, they could always call 914-365-6650, or they could look at the website, Montefiore New Rochelle WIC program, and assess. One of the things that I want to bring to the attention of the public is that you don't have to go to the WIC program in the neighborhood and the city that you live in.
I was just going to ask you that.
Yeah, we are New York State WIC program. As long as you live in New York State, you could go to any other WIC program. I know there are a lot of families that they not want to go to the supermarket with the neighbors because they might feel, I don't want nobody to know that I receive WIC programs. So they could go to any other city, and the information that is provided is confidential, and that's one of the things that we need to do. And participants do not have to have a legal residency. They don't have to have a U.S. citizenship, and they could be undocumented, and there is no kind of information asked about your documentation. So as long as you meet the criteria, having been a woman, pregnant woman, having an infant or child under the age of 5, and meet the income guidelines, and live in New York State, you are able to participate in the WIC program. So it's a great benefit. Please take advantage.
And this is something that we were talking about, that your mother participated in this program many, many years ago. And believe it or not, I participated in this program when I had my son that is 34 years old, because I didn't have the means. So this program is assisting people while they're going through a hard time, but it doesn't mean that they're going to be stuck there. This is 5 years, and that's what I like about it, that it's giving you a foundation. So I want to thank you so much for joining me. Again, another incredible show. What we're going to do, we're going to be bringing you actually to do seminars to our community in our facility. So stay tuned. We will give you more information on that. But thank you so much, Iris.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, and I love talking about the WIC program and what we do.
The passion is
is
obvious.
Yes,
it is contagious.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sweetheart. And thank you for watching us and joining us, and please like us. Bye-bye. See you next week.